Okay, can everyone hear me? Yeah, perfect. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tom Carr, and I'm one of the co-founders of Verto. I'm here with our other co-founder, Richard Pearce, Verto's head of sustainability and innovations, Andrew Eddy, and Verto's head of land and planning, Andy West. You will see in a moment that we make no bones about our desires to do things a little bit differently at Verto. And in keeping with this philosophy, we've taken a slightly unconventional approach to this masterclass. Rather than delivering death by PowerPoint, we challenged ourselves to bring to life the scale of the issues that we are facing in terms of the climate emergency and the housing crisis, and also to help you see in the flesh the solution that exists to these twin challenges. So if I could ask you all to open the chat thread in Zoom, you should see it at the bottom of your screen, represented by a speech bubble. We are going to share a link to a website. And if you could go ahead and just click on that link. Now, via the wizardry of modern technology, it should take you to our website with a large video player. If I could ask you all to turn off your Zoom cameras, turn off your microphones. Now, in just a moment, you can hit play and watch the film. Once it's reached its conclusion, which should take about 15 minutes, could you please switch your cameras back on and join us for Q&As? If any of you guys are having technical difficulties finding the video or playing it, don't worry. We all know too well what it's like working from home. We'll be waiting here patiently, and you can send us a message in the Zoom chat. So I'm going to stop talking now, and when you're ready, please hit play, and we'll see you back here shortly. We're just waiting for everyone to finish watching the video, guys, and then we'll begin the Q&As. Okay, so thank you for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you want to continue the conversation, please leave your contact details on the form you will see below the film on our website. We'll get in touch shortly after, but for now, does anyone have any questions for myself and the team?
I do, Tom.
Hello.
Hi, it's Kate Virgin.
Okay, how are you doing?
Hi, good. I'd be really interested to understand the kind of demographics and profiling of your your customers, of the people that buy the properties from you, please.
Okay, I'm going to hand that one over to Andrew Eddy. Do you want to take the lead on that, Eddie?
Sure. Hi. So I think there's a complete variety of people that buy houses, and they buy them for a variety of different reasons and what stands out as being important to them. We've got people from first-time buyers where we're using Help to Buy schemes to get into some of the smaller properties. And we've got people that are buying their dream houses in large developments where the properties are of higher value. So really, it's many demographics, and we see people using and interacting with the technologies within the house in different ways. So I think there's something for everybody within it, and I don't think we could perhaps pigeonhole any of them into any particular category.
No. It's quite pleasing to look at the screen in front of us, because we can see a couple of them now as well. So I'm glad they've joined us. Thank you.
I kind of ask then about the price point of your properties. We talk a lot about kind of inclusion and social inclusion. Would your properties be relatively more expensive or on par with similar properties in their area? Or I guess maybe it's non-comparable?
No, it certainly is comparable, because we can still compare, although we are comparing apples and pears, we can compare size. So a 3-bedroom comparative home or a 2-bedroom home in the development, one of the developments you saw in the video, Hillgrove Mews, the 2-bedroom houses, it was just under 1,000 square foot, and they were being sold at £250,000. In comparison to the local market, they were absolutely on a level with them. Our goal has always been to produce these sustainable houses at a price point at which they will be affordable to all ranges, because otherwise it's going to create an exclusive market, and we're not in to do that.
We've also got a number of projects live at the moment where we're delivering affordable housing with local affordable housing providers as well. So we are trying to cater to the wider market.
That's really great to hear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Next question.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Prem. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. That was very impressive.
Thank you very much, sir. Good to see you.
Yeah. My question is a simple one, really. The answer might be a bit more difficult. Do the authorities provide any funding or incentives for house builders to build net zero carbon housing?
There's no direct contribution from any of the local planning authorities or no contribution that they would make. Several of them, Cornwall being one, and also South Hams, where we've currently got an application at the moment, have policies within their local plans that seek to encourage either low carbon or zero carbon developments. But there's no actual financial contribution or incentive that they tend to offer now.
By the way, you've got some questions on the chat.
We do. Shall I? Does that answer your question, Prem?
It does, but the government is talking a lot about it, but not providing any incentives for house builders.
If I can dive in for a second as well, to go back to Kate's question earlier. Understandably, to build to the level that we're building at, it comes at a premium. It is more expensive, significantly more expensive. So when, as Andrew said, if we're trying to cater and sell our finished properties aligned with the local market, it's difficult for us because the land costs the same, our build costs are higher, but if our price point, our sales point is the same as our competitors, we're already on the back foot. So if there's going to be a complete shift in the way we do things, it needs support from local authorities and as Tom said at the end of the video, from government policymakers. There needs to be funding to unlock this and to make this happen.
Yes, I fully agree.
So I've got a couple of questions from the chat here, guys. So Andrew Mackenzie, given that almost every local authority has declared a climate emergency, why is every new development not required to meet the design standards that you have adopted? And what can be done to break these barriers?
I think it's, sorry, unless you want to jump in, Andy, I was going to say, I think it's the same answer I gave a moment ago. It's going to come from central government. They're going to have to implement policy and make significant changes and force every developer in the country to adopt these standards. We've just seen on the video, it can be done. We've been doing this for 10 years and it can be done. It's just at the moment we're choosing to take lesser margins. I think in order to bring the cost of all these additional materials down, we need to be forced collectively as a nation to make these changes.
I think that's the thing. I think major house builders as a rule will take the path of least resistance, which until they're controlled by legislation and potentially made in inverted commas to build in the same way that we do, then they simply won't.
Good stuff. Thanks, guys. Another question here from Mark Charlton. Ambitious and essential goals. I have a question on a topic you touched on, retrofitting. Is retrofitting more appealing than building from scratch? And my second question is about the brain. Is it reliant on Wi-Fi? What impacts are there on the brain when the electricity goes off?
Do you want to take those, Eddie?
Yeah, sure. So in terms, so which was the retrofit? The retrofit market is not as easy as a new build market.
The question is a simple one.
Because ultimately you're not dealing with a clean sheet. So you've got different problems in the superstructure and the roof, and so it can be a little bit more costly. In terms of the brain, the system itself, all of the devices are hardwired, all the sensors feeding back information are hardwired. So no, technically it's not reliant on Wi-Fi itself. They're not Wi-Fi smart devices. It's an integrated smart home. There are implications if there is a power cut, but a small battery pack can be installed to provide power, auxiliary power to the brain in terms of the power cut that would enable it to run at normal efficiency.
Great stuff. Thanks, guys. Another question here from Andy Snapes. Would you support a shift for relaxation on CIL or affordable provision for developments that are meeting net zero? Is this the change that will be necessary to induce the tipping point in the industry?
Potentially, but there's always a balance to strike, isn't there? That clearly community infrastructure levy it is exactly that. It's a levy on development to provide important community facilities, and also affordable housing is an important step on the housing ladder. So if you're stepping away from providing that, then you're taking from Peter to pay Paul, or something to that effect. But clearly there does need to be a shift, as Richard has indicated, in the way that the government policy is set out to enable people to build in the innovative way that we're doing. Perhaps there needs to be more of a balance, or the
Very impressive.
what needs to be taken into account more.
So guys, the room's going to close in a matter of seconds. If you do have any further questions, please leave your details on the website, the same link that we sent for the video. There's a contact form there, and we'll be in touch shortly after. Thank you everyone for joining us. It was a pleasure to be able to show you our masterclass today, and have a lovely week.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Cheers guys.